Welcome.
Pastor Hagee.
It's a pleasure to have you, and thank you for coming to share with our listeners today your experiences. This is a story that you have lived. It's not something that you've researched, but it is a part and parcel of who you are. I would like for you to begin by telling our audience about the training that you received as a child and as a teenager that started you down the road to become a terrorist.
Well, Americans must understand that anti-Semitism starts like a milk you feed to a baby. When I was 6 years old, going to even kindergarten, just before the Six-Day War erupted, we were singing a song. It was called El-Arab Ihbabna wal-Yahud Klabna. I'm saying this in Arabic, which means Arabs are beloved and Jews are dogs. Continuing even to going to an Anglican Lutheran school, 3rd and 4th grade. That was supposedly a Christian school here. And there the Bible was taught to us as Moses was a Palestinian revolutionist. Jesus was a Palestinian revolutionist. In fact, Hanan Ashrawi, prominent figures, all Christian Palestinian prominent figures, say that the biblical characters were all Palestinian revolutionists. Going to the government school, things took on of a much different nature. Now we were learning the Quran. Now we were learning the Hadith. Terrorism was being taught part of the religion.
As a very small child?
It was in high school, about 14, 15, 16, those age. And we memorized most of the Quran. Our educators were graduates of Al-Azhar University. Most Americans don't know what that really entails. Al-Azhar University is the #1 university par excellence that serves all the Sunni Muslim world with graduates and scholars. All these graduates, almost all of them, teach the jihadist movement. And Islamic Brotherhood coming out of Egypt was very influential in our area. And Sheikh Ayyad will teach us martyrdom, that in order to establish salvation, we must die ourselves in order to go to heaven and not just receive 70 virgins. It's 72 rooms with 72 beds, and on each bed or each sheet, 72 virgins. In fact, we memorized it. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٌ بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. Do not think that the ones who die in jihad in the cause of Allah are dead, but are alive with Allah receiving His blessings. And we learned also the Islamic hadith or as-Sirah an-Nabawiyya. The Islamic hadith regarding jihad is about 100 hadiths talks about jihad. And it talks about eschatology. Islam is filled with eschatology regarding the ends of days. And what Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, said was very clear. لا تقوم الساعة حتى تغلب طائفة من المسلمين طائفة من اليهود قيل أين يا رسول الله قال في بيت المقدس وأكنف بيت المقدس, which means in English, the day of judgment shall not come to pass until the tribes of Islam defeat the tribes of Israel in Jerusalem and the surrounding nations. Then the trees will cry out and the stones will cry out, here is a Jew hiding behind me. Come, O Muslim, come, O slave of Allah, come and kill him. So terrorism was inculcated in the religious perspective, in social perspective, in the graffiti all around the walls. You won't find a square meter in the Palestinian areas that don't have graffiti. And what kind of graffiti we're talking about, Pastor? Things like نَقْرَعُ أَبْوَابَ الْجَنَّةِ بِجَمَاجِمَ الْيَهُودِ. We knock on the gates of heaven with the skulls of Jews. So in order to enter paradise, you must kill Jews. You must die as a shaheed or as a martyr. That was part of that entire social structure.
Were you ever taught as a child that Jews were descendants from monkeys?
Even going to the local zoo, and you would see monkeys, and the teacher would say, this is the descendants of the Jews. Even we were giving the Quranic verse regarding this, وَقَلَبْنَاهُمْ قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ, which means we have converted these Sabbath breakers, the Jews, to becoming detestable monkeys. And you see all the Palestinian clergy saying these things. It was very parallel to what you see in Nazi Germany, although we denied the Holocaust even ever existed. The Holocaust was a fabrication to establish the Zionist entity. We had nothing to do with Hitler. That wasn't true at all.
Now, I have heard it said that you were also taught as children in Islam early that the Jewish people give Jewish children poison candy.
Arab children, yes.
Yes, the Jews give Arab children poison candy. Is that true?
Yes, the Arabs put in fertility drugs for the Palestinians so they don't have children, even though the Palestinians per capita have more children than anybody else. They laced the Cadbury chocolates with mad cow
disease.
They caused tsunamis. They caused earthquakes. They're destroying the Temple Mount.
In other words, everything bad in the world is the Jews' fault.
Everything bad in the world is the Jews' fault.
Somehow they caused it.
Somehow they caused it.
Now, what are the teachings of Islam concerning the Jews?
Well, it's very clear. Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, after not being able to convert the Jews of Banu Nadir and Qurayda and Qaynuqa, those were 3 Jewish tribes in Medina, the second city that is holy to Islam. It was a Jewish city. So after failing of converting them, he had the wars with them, and he had the entire tribe of Qurayda had them beheaded, and the women taken as concubines. So they were totally annihilated.
He took the wives of the Jews he killed as concubines.
Because in Islam it's forbidden to kill the women. And I remember when Sheikh Ayyad, we were asking the questions that after we kill the men, what will we do with the women? He said, we take them as concubines. And I said, I remember asking a question. I said, I don't understand. How could you have children with a woman you're not married to? He said, that's concubinage. It's okay. And he gave us example. The Prophet of Islam consummating his union with a concubine after killing her brother and husband. And I said, is it consensual? And Sheikh Ayyad says it doesn't have to be consensual.
Wow.
Recalling going years later in the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, I will make Jerusalem a trembling cup to all surrounding nations. The houses will be rifled and the women ravished. I began to become aware of what was happening to us, that we were raised for such a time that we'll do these evil deeds.
Women's rights in Islam are non-existent?
Women has half the inheritance as a male.
One half?
One half, yes. Women's rights is barely, a husband has the full right of custody of the wife. In fact, that's why 55 Muslim states, not one of them is signatory to the Hague Convention. Which means if a Christian girl marries a Muslim and he abducts her with the children to the Middle East, there's nothing they can do about it. This is